It's Monday, April 6th, and I'd like to give you a Quest Charter Academy update. This is Dr. Tanya Jenkins, the Executive Director, and I'm going to give you a weekly update so that you can keep up with your child's learning. This week we're going to be talking about several items, and you can see on the screen here that we're going to give some updates, talk to you about the regular daily schedules. We have a special Friday schedule that we're putting into place for your children. A few reminders, technology uses and curriculum are going to be our topics for this week's update. On our updates, we just want to make sure that you understand that technology distribution is going on today and tomorrow. And if you have not signed up for a time to come get your devices for your students, please just know that you can come to the middle school or the high school tomorrow. Today we finish up at 3 o'clock. So if you're seeing this today and you still have time, please stop by either the middle school or the high school. Tomorrow we start again at 8 o'clock and we run until 3 o'clock. If you have not, again, picked a time, then know that we are here from 8 to 3 o'clock. Please call your schools to let them know if there's a problem, and they will work with you to make sure your devices get to your students. You can see on the screen all of my updates, and I'm just going to go through some of them to make sure that you are clear. April 30th is our new date now for our school closures, so we will be doing our e-learning process at least through April 30th or until we get further notifications from the state. Also, April 10th is Good Friday, and you can see that there are no classes. And again, on April 13th, that's our Teacher Institute, so there will be no classes held on either of those days. We did mention this, but I wanted to bring it up again that all spring assessments, including the tests listed on your screen, have been canceled for the rest of the year. So please understand that we are working with state officials to get further clarification on when those tests will be rescheduled, and especially those SAT tests for the 11th graders. The Illinois State Board of Education is working to get a new date for that scheduled for the fall. Our Quest calendar will not change, so you should have a calendar that tells you all of our dates for the year. We will be following that very closely, so please continue to read your updates and hear your voicemails, and we will keep you updated with any new happenings. The Center for Prevention of Abuse has a great social emotional learning toolkit that we will post on our website. It has activities there for your students to be able to do when they are not in class with their teachers. So if you're looking for other things for your children to do on their downtime, please check out that toolkit. It's got some really great activities for the whole family to be able to participate in. And finally, special education has their scheduled meetings for any annual reviews that are happening. Those still will happen, and those invites will still come out, and those meetings that are scheduled will be done virtually. As far as our regular daily schedule, I just wanted to remind you that April 8th, this Wednesday, starts our teachers and students doing their virtual classes. So when you come to get your devices, you have a schedule there. Please go over that schedule with your students so that they understand when to log in to their classes and have their daily classes with their teachers. You can see there that classes Monday through Thursday will run 8:30 to 1:30. And again, that hard copy schedule is given to you when you come to get your devices. Every day we will run lunch from 12 to 12:30, which gives your students time to stop and have their lunch before they come back for their afternoon classes. And we did put a 10-minute break in between classes so students have time to get logged into their second classes. And in between each class, there's that 10-minute break for you. Please, again, help your students understand that Mondays and Wednesdays will be A days for the high school and the middle school, and Tuesdays and Thursdays will be B days at both schools. And then Fridays, you'll follow the special schedule, which I will go through with you in just a few minutes on the next slide. Students, please take time for reading and the mentoring, the tutoring, credit recovery, completing packets, and makeup work. All of those things will happen on Fridays, and you'll see that schedule coming up. So again, help your students to understand how to read those schedules so that they can be signed into the right classes at the right times. And again, that last reminder about schedules is that you should make sure you get that hard copy schedule when you pick up your technology equipment. So for Fridays, we have the schedule listed here for you. Please take a look at this. It is different than the Monday through Thursday schedule, and you will need to help your students navigate through this schedule. On Fridays, for the middle school, from 8:30 to 9:30, they will have their Spanish classes if they were in Spanish. Special education teachers will be running resource classes for their students, and they will notify students of where to sign in. So make sure that students are getting that time. Credit recovery will also be happening with Mr. Marshall for math, and the other content areas for credit recovery will be happening with Ms. Moore. Tutoring will also be happening, so teachers will have logins for students to be able to sign on if they need help in any of their classes. You can have your student email their mentoring teacher at either school, and those teachers will help you to get signed in to the right classes for tutoring if your student needs that. And then also all of our students with ELL supports will have those classes happening from 8:30 to 9:30. Then parents, you know that we do a mentoring time here at Quest Charter Academy, and that is still going to be in effect. We will be using the Google Hangout, and that is a call that is only being able to be used for outgoing calls. Teachers will be using those numbers, and your students will be notified of their mentoring time, and they will have 10 to 15-minute conferences with their mentoring teacher to see how they are doing with their classes. So again, make sure that your students understand how to use that, and if they're not sure about that, have them talk to their mentoring teacher. And then credit recovery will also be happening with Ms. Moore for any content area that is not math, any content area that is not math. From 11 to 12, you have your middle school and high school counselors will be doing their sessions. So any student that was on a counselor's list for having some special time just to do some conversations with them, they will be scheduling that time and be able to have your students sign in to get that support. If you need that help with your child, please email your school principal and they will help get you connected to those counselors. Again, on Friday, we take our lunch break from 12 to 12:30. And then 12:30 to 1:30 is a special time for students just to be able to email their teachers, complete any homework, read their books, because we do still need to get those AR points in. Journals need to be caught up, and just overall catch-up time is at 12:30 to 1:30 on Friday. So if you would, parents, please make sure your students are seeing these schedules and adhering to them for us. Credit recovery, again, parents, for the high school, we have set that up for your students to be able to do credit recovery on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with Mr. Marshall. And he is doing that specifically for math from 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock. And so counselors will be working with your high school students for the area of math these next couple of days to make sure that they get connected with Mr. Marshall. A few reminders that are very important. We think again that you need to know that your students need to be up and ready to start their classes on Wednesday morning beginning at 8:30, and again following that special schedule on Friday. We have made sure that all of our teachers this last week have been communicating with your child to get them ready for this process to begin. So we want to make sure that you monitor and make sure that they are only doing Google Classroom. Google Meets is what we are using. The Google Classroom is for those students that are using Summit. Google Hangout is the phone messaging system, and then our email. So we're asking that students, parents, and staff all stay within that framework. The class backdrop matters, so please take a look at where your student is setting up their device to be able to have a quiet place to be in class, because again, this is class time and we need to make it happen just like we do regular expectations in school. We want students to be prepared to do that with their virtual classes. So please help them understand they should not come to class in their pajamas or anything that is out of the ordinary. They should be ready just like they're going to class, so that when they are on camera, it is a classroom setting. And again, we're asking that you help monitor students and have that conversation with them, because any misbehaviors could mean a loss of their technology privileges. So it's very important that you help students understand this is class time and it is taken seriously. We will attend classes and complete assignments as usual, and teachers will be giving guidance as to when things are due. And again, we look for that parent support. You can see finally that those technology distributions, again, I keep saying it because some parents still have not signed up for a time to come get those devices. Classes do begin on Wednesday, so you have just the rest of today and tomorrow from 8 to 3 to get those devices picked up so that you're ready for your child to start classes on Wednesday. The paper packets that were mailed, those should be in your students' hands by now. Again, if they haven't come to the home and we had a wrong address, those will come back to us and we will get those delivered out, because all of that work is expected to be completed and submitted back in the plastic bag when we return to regular classes. On the screen here, you have in front of you now the technology addresses for the things that we will be using throughout our virtual learning times. So please look at this slide, look at the Google addresses that students will need to use, and make sure that you are able to point your students in the right direction should they need help. I also have listed here on the screen that if you need supports, that you need to be able to contact your child's mentoring teacher, and they will be the go-to to help get you answers quickly. As far as curriculum is concerned, again, I listed some things here that we are asking teachers to adhere to in this virtual learning time. We have to take a look at what is most important for students to be able to be at grade level completion by the end of the school year. So you will note that some of these assignments are not going to necessarily be the usual classroom assignments, but they will be able to help us understand whether or not your child has picked up the standards that they need for us to be able to show competencies and grade level completion. So please, again, help emphasize to your student that although this is virtual learning, it is still subject to our discretion about students being promoted or retained based on how much they are able to show that they have met these grade level expectations. So again, I think if you just take time to go over these slides with your students, students will understand that everything that we're doing in these virtual classes is tied to grade level expectations and completion. Again, I just wanted to say to you that these are a few updates for the week. We'll try to make sure that we do this each week. And again, if you have specific questions, please email it to your student's teacher first. If your teacher is not able to give you those answers, then go through your mentoring teacher. The mentoring teacher, between the mentoring teacher and their classroom teachers, they should be able to get answers to any of your questions or concerns. If not, you can always email your student's principal, and they will also be able to help you. We know that together here at Quest, we are going to continue to strive to be our best, and I'm always available to you as well on email. That's all we have for this week. Stay tuned and stay safe.